Welcome. Good morning. Oh, that's nice. I teach in this classroom, and usually when I say good morning to the class, I get crickets. So thank you for that. Welcome to UCI. Welcome to the School of Biological Sciences. My name is Raju Metharate. I'm a neuroscientist, and I'm a professor in the Department of Neurobiology and Behavior and the Associate Dean for Undergraduate Education. We're excited to have you guys here, partly because we're excited about the undergraduate curriculum that we've built up over the years, and I am excited to be able to tell you about that. Okay, so let's get started. When I talk to students, and also to probably especially to parents, one question I get a lot is, why should I go to a research university, a large public research university, when there are so many great small liberal arts colleges around? A place where you get a lot of personal attention, small classes, things like that. And I think that's a great question, and it's an important one for you to consider, because for the right student, you should go to one or the other. But I do think that research universities, our research university, offers some really important advantages that the small colleges can't do. So the main reason to go to a research university is for the research. So you've probably heard that professors are hired to UCI and other research universities primarily because of their research accomplishments and their potential for future groundbreaking research. And they're not hired for their teaching ability. And this is absolutely true. Sorry. Like I just said, I teach in this classroom. This is our small classroom. So you're not coming here for the small classes. What are you coming here for? These research professors who are coming here, especially in the biological sciences, biomedical sciences, where we have other options when we're looking for a faculty position. A lot of people who are looking for a faculty position will go to a medical school or a research institute where they are exclusively doing research. We come here because we want to be on a general campus, we want to be with undergraduates, we want to teach undergraduates, and we believe in the mission. We believe in the mission of a public university. That's why we're here. So there is a very strong emphasis on undergraduate teaching, even though this is a research university. And that comes through in two main advantages. One, the professors who are teaching your classes are accomplished, practicing scientists. Like I said, I teach in this room. I'm teaching introductory neurobiology. I love this material. It's material that I use every day in my research, and I understand it because it's my area of expertise. I understand it at a level that is several orders of magnitude deeper than the level that I'm trying to teach. And that's important because I can take very complex topics and explain them in as simple terms as possible to maximize learning. In contrast, if I was a professor at a liberal arts college, instead of being at a school of biological sciences where there are 130 professors covering all areas of biology, at a small college, I might be one of 20 professors covering all areas of biology. I might be teaching neurobiology, but I might be teaching something completely different out of my area. I might be teaching plants, right? I know what plants are. Some of my best friends are plants, but that's about it. I would be like one chapter ahead of the class in the course. So this is a very different experience, and it's important to keep that in mind. The second thing is that undergraduates can pursue research in faculty laboratories. I tell students that this is the number one reason why you should pursue your education at a research university. It's the best, and I believe it's the best thing that we do. Even though we have a great undergraduate curriculum, the undergraduate research experience is probably the best thing we do. It changed my life when I did it a few years ago. And many faculty will tell you the same thing. Many of our current students will tell you the same thing. It is so different from what people expect. It can be a life-changing experience. So imagine what the situation is. You go into as an undergraduate student, you go into a faculty laboratory, and there might be you and maybe one or two other undergraduates in the lab. The rest of the lab is going to be graduate students, postdoctoral researchers, research scientists, and then the professor who's the lead of the lab. All of these people are working on a problem in biology, and this is on the cutting edge of biology. This is not research that we're making up for the benefit to give some undergraduates some experience. This is cutting edge, state-of-the-art biology research. So everyone in the lab is working on the same question, different aspects of the same question. They're all really smart, and nobody knows the answer to the question they're studying. Everyone's trying to do it together. It's a very intellectually dynamic, intellectually exciting environment, and it's for undergraduates and for everybody, it's a time of great personal and intellectual development. So this, again, can be life-changing for many, for the right people, and it's, again, one of the best things that you can do here at UCI. And if you're interested in doing undergraduate research, BioSci is one of the best places you can do it. Every school in the University of California system has to go through an external review every 10 years. We went through ours just a few years ago, and this is where a group of scientists come from other universities. We had people from the University of Chicago, University of Virginia, Michigan, other places on this committee. They come here, they look at our program, they look at everything we do, and then they write a report with recommendations. In their report, they called BioSci's undergraduate research program our jewel in the crown. So I was very excited to see this. I believe they were right. I knew it before they said it. But it's nice to see this external confirmation. So some of the reasons are listed here. Our undergraduate research program is among the largest and the best in the University of California system, and even nationwide. We have over 1,000 students enrolled in our undergraduate research program every quarter. I think this quarter we have 1,300 students enrolled. It's a huge program, but every student is getting individual attention because we have 350 faculty labs to choose from. So these include not only the labs of the 130 faculty that are in the School of Biological Sciences, but also we administer the undergraduate research program for the School of Medicine as well. So this includes the Basic Science School of Medicine laboratories that are on campus just across the street from us here, and also the laboratories, faculty laboratories that are in the medical center in Orange and in the various teaching hospitals, including the new UCI hospital on Jamboree. So there are lots of opportunities for undergraduates to pursue all kinds of research in biological sciences, including the biomedical research and medical research. About 15%, this is an optional program, about 15% of these students doing this undergraduate research do what we call the Excellence in Research project. So this is a capstone research experience. And in order to do that, what they have to do is complete a project that will take them at least a year to do. They will have to write a paper on that project, and if the paper is accepted, it will be published in the Journal of Undergraduate Research here on campus. And also, they have to present that research in the form of a conference poster to the faculty on our Faculty Honors Committee. So here's a student being grilled by Professor Mahler. This sounds intimidating, and sometimes it is. But you should see these students at the end of this process. They are so proud, they are so confident, and they're just pumped. This is an exciting time. They've spent a year on this project, or more than a year, and they know it better than anyone else. And they see that when they're grilled by the faculty. Hey, I know more than this guy. It's a very exciting time for them. And again, about 15% of them do this, complete this process. If you're interested in research, these are some of the research groups, research centers that are on campus. These are a few of the centers that involve a big component from professors in the biological sciences. I'm not going to go through this because there's too many here, but keep in mind that there are more. Basically, whatever you're interested in, there are groups on campus studying it, and there will be an opportunity for students to do research in that area. I just want to point out one center here, the Center for Complex Biological Systems. This is a very prominent center on campus, and as of a few weeks ago, this has been elevated to a department in the School of Biological Sciences. So BioSci, for 60 years since its beginning, has had 4 departments. As of a few weeks ago, we now have 5. A Department of Systems Biology, and probably next year we will introduce a 6th, a Department of Comparative and Integrative Physiology. So there are new departments coming on, and if you're a student here, you're going to start in the fall. By the time you're ready to declare a major, we should have more options for you in systems biology and in physiology. Okay, I just want to touch on a few new developments in teaching that we're excited about. One is that we don't do weeding out. Some of you may not have heard of this. Those of you, the parents, who have gone and done a undergraduate degree in a STEM field know exactly what I'm talking about. It's when you go into your freshman biology class and the professor says, look at the person to your left, look at the person to your right. By the time you finish college, only one of you will still be here. And for some reason, universities took some kind of perverse pride in those numbers. We don't do that anymore. It's been over a decade since we did that. Our philosophy now is, if you have been admitted to UC Irvine, you are among the best. And if you want a degree in biological sciences, we will do everything we can to make sure you get it. So we have gotten rid of these gateway courses that also seem to be gatekeeper courses. We have, as a result of this, we've increased the retention of students in our upper division classes. And there's supposed to be less stress. Our students still tell us they're pretty stressed, but maybe they don't have the right context, perspective. There should be less stress. Another thing that we're trying to do is to build student cohorts. So UCI is approaching 40,000 students. This is a small city, and it's easy to get lost in it. And so one thing we're trying to do is to introduce students to a small cohort experience embedded into this larger city. And so there's a few programs we have that are designed to promote a sense of belonging. For example, the freshmen coming in, we have 1,000 freshmen coming in every fall. The freshmen are grouped into groups of 25 or so learning communities. And these this group of 25 will meet every week. They'll go to their classes together, and just in that process, they develop a support system for each other. This is only for, depending on the program, this might be for the first quarter of your freshman year or for the entire freshman year. But even when we talk to third and fourth year students or graduates, they tell us that the bonds that they formed, my time is up, the bonds that they form in this cohorting situation last forever. This is their support network, and it's really important. We're trying to develop this sense of belonging so people don't get lost in this large university. The last thing I want to talk about is the professors of teaching. And this is a new kind of faculty. We've had them for about 10, 12 years now. That is totally revolutionizing how we teach. So professors of teaching are biologists. They have PhDs in biology, just like every other professor in the school. And like every other professor in the school, they do research. But for these professors, their research is on biology education, how to teach, pedagogy. And they're developing new techniques. They're studying what are the best ways to teach, how do students learn optimally, and this is their research. So we've always, in theory, we've always had professors studying this. We've had a school of education forever, but that's on the other side of campus, and we barely see them. These people are embedded in our departments. So there's 2 or 3 professors of teaching in each of the departments, and we see them all the time. We see them at faculty meetings, at committee meetings. There's a lot of interaction, and when they see that something is working in their research, it immediately goes to the other faculty in the department and the school. So this is, again, completely revolutionizing how we teach. And this is just an example of what they're doing. This is our active learning laboratory. This is a freshman laboratory where they're, again, you can see they're in small groups. These groups go out into the marsh. They collect, I don't know exactly what they do. They collect soil samples, air samples, water samples. They bring them back to the lab. They look at them. They extract DNA from the organisms that they find in the samples. They sequence the DNA, and then they look at interactions among the different communities of organisms in the sample. They're trying to do stuff with their hands that is paralleling what they're learning in the freshman biology lectures. Okay, and I am well over time, so let me stop there and turn it over to Raven Yoshitomi. Thank you for your attention. We will be here afterwards if you have questions.
Thank you, Raju. Thank you, Dr. Mathurate. So my name is Raven Yoshitomi. I am the Director of Student Affairs here in the School of Biological Sciences. So I work with a staff of 12 other academic advisors and other student support professionals, people who basically are here to help you navigate the university and the biosci major successfully, connect you with resources, make sure you're making the best use of your time here, or working through any challenges that come up. So I am very excited to introduce you to 2 of our, a student and alum who really, I think, made the best use of their time here. I have a short bio for each of them. I think it omits a lot that they did because they were both very active or are very active on campus. But I'll give them a quick introduction and then let them tell you a little bit more about their experience on campus, and then we'll have time for you to ask them questions, which is probably the most exciting time for you. So John Robb over here on your right. John Robb is actually one of our alumni. He came to us from Sacramento and was a double major here at UCI in public health and human biology. Yes, he had a lot of active roles in our school. He was a leader of 2A, so the freshman seminar that Dr. Mathurate just alluded to, the seminar that helps students get off the ground and a solid foundation here in your very first quarter. He was one of the leaders for that. He was one of our peer academic advisors. So alongside our professional staff, we have a team of peer advisors helping students navigate their bio degree. And now he's at the UCI School of Medicine. Congratulations, working very hard in his second year. So I'm sure some of you are probably thinking about med school, or some of your parents are thinking about med school for you. So you may have questions for him. And then Brian Alba, his friend there next to him, is a 5th-year double major in Spanish and biosci. He's a certified EMT. If we ever need anything, any kind of assistance in the room, you could jump in. He volunteers as a Spanish translator at a free clinic, has served as the lead EASE peer coach, and he is also, very exciting for us today, a member of UCI's mariachi band and teaches classes on food policy within the You Teach program. And then he can tell you more about this, but we will have the mariachi group performing after this session. So we will help you exit the room, go out there and enjoy their festivities with Brian. We'll let him go a few minutes early so he can get set up. But that's, I think, enough of a basic intro for both of you guys. So maybe you can just introduce yourselves a little bit more fully, maybe highlight one or two things that you feel like gave you the best experience here on campus or that you'd recommend to other folks. Yeah.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. It's good to be here. This is my second year doing this, but I would say just at UCI, I mean, it's been a long journey. Being my fifth year, I wish I could take a sixth, but unfortunately, they're going to have to kick me out after this. But I would say throughout my time here at UCI, I think I learned a lot coming here from first year to now. As a first-gen student, it was kind of a little difficult navigating all the kinds of things. I mean, I know a lot of information was thrown at you, especially like, research, kind of all these classes you're taking. But there's definitely a lot of great support systems here at UCI that I was able to find. For example, we mentioned the EASE program and the 2A program. Both of those programs are both designed for first-year students, and they really kind of help build communities throughout biosci. It's not just about the academic aspect, but also you're making a lot of great friends along the way. Even in my fifth year now, I'm surprised at, the fact that I've been able to be a part of so many great communities here, which has been, truly just a wonderful experience. And these programs, they're not just, they're teaching about, community involvement, but also they're teaching about, we even brought financial literacy and topics like that to biosci. Kind of navigating through here though, I have a lot of great mentors in faculty, the wonderful biosci advisors here. I've actually taken Dr. Metharati's class too, and I'm telling you, these classes are excellent as well. So definitely, I feel like as I kind of went through, it kind of gave me a little bit more confidence to kind of make these decisions, whether it's in terms of getting into new labs and kind of figuring out how I kind of want to use my time here at UCI. But definitely, it's a great space to really bring out your passions and help direct you and navigate you towards your future.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're a little bit of a dynamic duo. We were here last year, and it's definitely one of the joys of the year. I think for me, and again, I'm also biased because EASE leader, 2A leader, the freshman seminar is an incredible resource, and I think it's fantastic that the School of Bio has this. I entered as a public health major, so many of you are steps ahead of me. Congratulations. So I did not have that experience, and when I came to biosci and was first introduced to it, I was blown away. I think very first quarter, you are introduced to so many resources. What's here on campus, what's here in biosci, the peer tutoring, the paid tutoring, the kind of mental health, wellness supports here on campus. Everyone's here to make sure that your experience goes well, that you're supported, and you succeed both academically and as a person. I think that's huge. I think for me to touch on points from Dr. Metharati, research was a really big part of my experience here at UCI. I think Dr. Metharati understated it a little bit, frankly, how much research has driven the course of many of our trajectories. I know several people who came into UCI who were pre-med or had some other track, and then went off into either industry research or academic research. They're pursuing PhD now, or they are working in professional laboratories. So it is incredible that you get that experience early on. You can get these jobs, these positions, get accepted into PhD programs right out of undergrad because of the quality of the program here.
Thank you both. Is this mic working? Yes. Thank you both. Okay, so we have a little bit of time before Brian needs to excuse himself, and then just a little more time with John there to take your questions. So I will ask that if you have any very specific questions, like I'm considering this school or this other school, which one should I choose, or how is my AP math credit going to transfer to UCI, save those for our advisors and all of the student leaders we have outside. We're happy to talk through your individual situations. But for this group, any questions you have about research, the experiences, why people picked UCI, we're happy to take those questions from you now. Ideally from students, but parents welcome. We won't turn you away. Yes. Let me. I'll give you the mic, and then we'll just repeat the question before you answer.
I was kind of wondering, this is not necessarily something biosci related, but I was wondering more about the EMT program, whether it's competitive for students who already have a license to kind of get involved in the EMT at UCI.
Awesome. Yeah, great question. About whether or not the EMT program was competitive for students to get into. So I know there's other schools. I think UCLA has their own EMT-based program. UCI on this campus doesn't have their specific own EMT program, but there's a lot of different jobs in the area that you can work, especially once you have your license. A lot of places are hiring, and it's it was a pretty straightforward process to get into that program as well. Even right now, I mean, UCI Health, technically, we contract with the Honda Center in Anaheim, so we're able to work at different concerts and events. So that's where I've been working at lately. But I would say that there's a lot of different interfacility transport companies too, or 911 companies in the area that are hiring. So it's a pretty cool process to get into. I wouldn't say it's that difficult too.
Great. What other questions? Oh, yes. I see one up here. Let me get up there.
She's embarrassed to ask, but what is, as a first year freshman, what does your typical schedule look like? How many days a week are you here?
Yep, great, thank you.
Great question. So I think I lived on campus for context, so I was here every day. But in terms of classes, a lot of classes are either Tuesday, Thursday, or Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I don't think I was ever super lucky enough to consolidate them so that I was having like a consistent day off. But, you know, theoretically, if you could be creative with it, I think that gets easier as you get to upper class. But as a first year, you typically have 3 classes, approximately. I guess 3.5, including the freshman seminar. And so that will take, usually a class meets, like it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday for an hour, or Tuesday, Thursday for an hour and a half. So you can do the math up there. There's a lot of free time, and I think that's like a new thing, of course, when you're transitioning from high school to college. So there's so much time to explore the campus, meet new people, hang out, do all the social and fun club things that were listed in our resumes. So definitely a good balance of time for you to, of course, attend your courses, but also study and enjoy the college experience.
I can add a little bit about what our students are taking their first quarter right now. So if you're coming into UCI this fall, we will go ahead and basically create your learning community that you heard about earlier for you. So we'll enroll you in a Bio 93 lecture course, Bio 90L, the lab course, like the first year lab course that gets you that hands-on experience in the marsh and stuff that Raji was talking about. And then your Bio 2A class, so that's the seminar class that both of these guys have worked with. So you'll have those 3 classes, and you'll be enrolled in the same set of those classes with a group of maybe 20 other students. So that's your learning community. You and 20 people sitting around you will all be taking the same kind of basic bio classes your first quarter, and then you'll add on one more class, typically to be full-time. So for most people, that's Chem 1A. If you happen to have taken that at a community college or you have AP credit, you could take something else. But most people would add on a Chem class, and often we see that students choose a Chem class or another class with the other folks in their learning community. So you have a little pod of people, your new best friends, at least for one quarter, to take all of your classes with. And that's a full-time schedule. It's kind of the right mix of classes, the right balance, not too overwhelming, but you're still doing some real bio coursework. And it makes it very easy to plan your first quarter. There's not too much stress. Our students come to summer orientation. They're like in and out. It's very easy for them. They get a little bit of autonomy, a little bit of choice, but it also is not a super stressful enrollment process. Some of our other friends across campus, it's a much more, it's much more lengthy process to try and decide what to take. So it's pretty structured your first quarter. We do a lot to help you out, make sure you're set up for success. Okay, I'll come back up here.
Hi, so this lecture hall seems pretty big and daunting. What if you don't understand a concept? How do you get the individual attention of your professor or their TA so that you don't fall behind? Or say you miss a class, are the classes recorded where you can watch it later? Because it seems like with the quarter system, it goes by so quickly.
Yeah, that's a great question, honestly, and that was probably one of the biggest adjustments for me coming here, that how quickly the quarter system does go. Thankfully, there's a lot of great support systems in place. Usually the professors, for the most part, they do tend to have recordings that they'll have of all their lectures, especially in my experience with BioSci, that's been the case. And also, a lot of times there'll be TAs in the class, and sometimes they'll also go around too to provide support during classroom times. But more so than that, office hours are huge, and professors are very open about having office hours. And one of the things I worked with within our EASE program and those 2A freshman seminar programs was really trying to encourage students to make use of office hours, because a lot of times we actually see that sometimes students might not go to these office hours with the professors, and it's such an important resource that they can take advantage of too. And a lot of these professors, you know, they might not have as many students there, so a lot of times you'll even get a lot of personalized support during those times as well. We also mentioned there's great tutoring programs as well for both chemistry and biology. We have free programs, and then also there's a program that that you can pay for called LARC, but there's also scholarships offered for that program as well. So there's a lot of great overall and general tools that they can use to help with that too.
Could I add something there? Something that I'm trying for the first time. So I told you I'm teaching introductory neurobiology right now, and for the first time I'm kind of excited about this. People can come to my office hours, and they do. People can use the peer tutoring services. My lectures are all recorded on online on the Canvas page, so they have all these resources. Now, in addition to that, I've introduced an AI chatbot. So this is a chatbot that is using as its knowledge base all the materials from my class that I've uploaded to it, and people can ask questions and get really impressive answers. And I've instructed the chatbot not to give a direct answer, but to guide the student through the thinking required to get to the answer. So it's like a tutor. In fact, the name of the chatbot is Socratic Tutor. And so I think this is really exciting. I'm just trying it for the first time, so we'll see how it goes. But it might put me out of a job, but still, it's exciting.
Some hands over here. I think I saw some up here in the middle first, so I'll come up here. Thank you.
Thank you for being here today. I was just wondering, what does class registration look like, and is that competitive? And also, what is the process for declaring your major?
For sure. So for class registration, so we do have a platform. It's called WebReg, and so that's where you would go to select your classes. You typically have a specific date in which you can pick your classes. It can get a little competitive depending on when your date is for selecting your classes, depending on different circumstances for when your date is offered. But for the most part, with all your core classes, you generally don't have to worry about whether you get them. It might just be more so of an issue with, maybe I didn't get this specific time that I would have liked for the class. But in general, the first time you do it, it's a little bit okay, this is kind of a lot. But once you've done it a few times, it's pretty straightforward. And there's also, the advisors are also always there to provide and offer support for this. I know they come into some of these first year seminar sessions to actually give personalized support for these things too. So you're talking about class registration. Did I cover everything? You said
Major.
Change of major. Thank you. And then change of major as well. That's also it's on your student access page where you go to find your WebReg as well, and you can submit a change of major application there. There's an applications tab there, and then you would submit a change of major, and then typically it'll take a little bit of time for the school to get back to you and let you know whether or not you're able to switch into that major. Sometimes you'll have to take certain prereqs in order to be able to become approved and accepted in that major. But I did that myself actually multiple times. I've been all over the board, so it's definitely something that is accessible to you all, and definitely something I recommend that you maybe explore at some point if you're interested in it.
Great, well, thank you. If this is a good time and you need to excuse yourself to get ready for your musical number, you're welcome to take off, and we can continue with John, myself, Raju. Thank you, Brian. Did you have anything to add about either of those topics?
I thought you could add about change of major.
Sure, yes, yeah, I'm happy to. So if you decide that biosci is not for you, which is perfectly fine. If you come here as a bio major, you give it a shot and you realize actually you really are in love with public health, making the opposite switch that Rob did. Or if you want to declare a double major, like both of these guys did, you basically spend, a couple quarters typically completing the introductory courses. So if you're declaring a double major in Spanish, probably take the first year Spanish classes. It might require the second year. I don't remember off the top of my head. And then if you take those introductory classes, earn some solid grades in them, usually you need like a C or higher plus a 2.0 GPA. Some majors are more selective. So if you want to get into computer science, business, there are some kind of predictably popular majors that are a little bit more restrictive. But for a lot of majors on campus, it's basically meeting sort of the introductory course bar and being in good standing. And then you submit your request online and declare it. Okay. I see a hand over here. I will go ahead and hand this over to you.
I was wondering, what years were you able to actually do hands-on research? Because I heard there's a lot of research programs, and I was wondering, can you do research your first 2 years, or is it more later on?
You will have to correct me if I'm wrong about changes in policy. I believe you have to complete some of the core courses, the first year core courses, before you are able to participate in the research program. That being said, the second that I was done with them, I got into a lab. Not necessarily recommended, but yes, you can get involved in research pretty early on if you so choose. I spent 3 years in various research. I spent 2 years with my first lab, and then I did my senior project in a different lab just to get some exposure to other topics. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. It was a really smooth process, I think, to enroll in research. There are so many faculty that are taking undergrads. Maybe your first choice isn't taking anybody when you're looking, but you will find someone whose research is exciting, who will include you, who will train you, and from there, who knows where you go. Maybe it's just a year, maybe you only stay with them. It's like you try it out, it's not for you, back away. Maybe it will take you on a whole new career trajectory.
Yes, that's great. Yes, I will add, so John was correct. If you're coming in as a first-year student, we ask that you finish your first 2 introductory bio classes and can get started on research as early as your spring quarter of your first year. If we have any transfer students in the audience today, welcome again, and you can go ahead and get started as soon as you like. We're not going to delay your start since you're here for a shorter amount of time. Yes? Oh, I saw these guys first, so I'll come back to you.
Just a question. There's a room for a student from other school like UCLA in the research to join here?
So the question is if there's room for students from other schools, like from UCLA, in research groups. Do you have any thoughts on that, Raju? I mean, most people doing undergrad research on our campus are obviously from UCI, so it may be a little trickier to arrange, but do you have...
There's nothing preventing it. It's just that there's a lot of demand on campus, and our professors tend to take students from here. But there's nothing preventing it.
And as a current medical student, I mentor aspiring pre-meds from various different colleges. I don't think anyone as far away as UCLA, but a lot of community colleges in the area, and they are also very interested in getting into research. It is there are hurdles that UCI students participating in research with UCI faculty do not have to jump that outside students do. So it is a particularly laborious process. I would recommend, if you intended institution, to seek out opportunities within your institution.
Yeah. Yes, great, thank you. And I don't think we mentioned it previously, but about half of the research opportunities that our bio students do are actually with the UCI School of Medicine. So there are hundreds of labs across both of those programs, and School of Medicine is obviously a really popular choice for students interested in health professions. Okay, I'll come back to my friend here who I said I would return to.
What is the difference between the research programs and internships, and then how early should you start going for those, and are there any programs to help you get into internships?
That's a very exciting question. Do you have an answer? Or I can.
If you want to hop with the resources, and I can do
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So the question is about the difference between research and internships, and how you get involved in those, specifically internships. So, research is typically working in a lab here on campus with the School of Medicine, with a faculty member, maybe grad students, postdocs, etc. And an internship. These words can be used a little bit interchangeably, but an internship is typically out at a company. So it could be a research company, a research lab off campus, or you could be working with a corporation of some kind. But basically you're getting either credit, occasionally getting paid for your work with some kind of external, community partner. We do have students who do that. We have a lot of students who either help with, they work in an optometry clinic, or they work with smaller health profession businesses like that. And then we also have students who might be interested in looking at companies like Edwards, Johnson & Johnson, all of the great bio-related companies in the Irvine, Orange County area. And this is a great time for you to be a bio major here, because we're in the process of hiring a career coordinator just for biosci. And one of the goals for that person is to establish an internship program for our students. So right now it's a little bit free. You kind of have to figure some of the stuff out on your own. But by the time you get here in fall, we'll have that person hired, getting set up with career coaching, workshops, etc., working towards relationships with our local companies, building partnerships, and hopefully creating internship credit that you can start utilizing, I would guess, your second year or third year here.
See, I truly came into UCI at the wrong time. So congratulations to you all. But I think in terms of internships, there are a lot of biomedical companies right here in Research Park, or just throughout Irvine or in the broader OC area. They are, a little bit limited. You're going to be looking probably when you're third and fourth year for internships. So now is a little early. But I do, off the top of my head, I had one friend in biosci who interned at Medtronic and is now currently working there. So there's definitely those opportunities. Again, you do right now, as things stand, you do have to look a little bit for them. There's a Division of Career Pathways here on campus that serves the entire campus, and they maintain kind of a platform of internships and other opportunities. Again, you'll have to filter through it to find more specific to biosci or whatever you're interested in, but the opportunities are there if you look for them, absolutely, for internships.
So we have just a few more minutes, maybe time for one last question. I see this guy in the blue hat here looks excited to ask a question.
I have two questions. First one, what's your guys' opinion about condensing the amount of time you take your courses to graduate undergrad in 3 years, for example? And then the second question is what are the pros and cons of doing a double major or even a minor?
So last question first. I think that if you are passionate about a couple different areas, a minor or a double major is a fantastic way to explore that. I know that I came in as a public health major and then added biosci and later human biology, but I maintained that initial passion for health policy, which is why I completed out that major and did a double. I think that is a very personal decision. As you take courses, particularly your GE courses, you might develop interests that you want to explore more. And a minor and double major, that is the perfect option. It doesn't increase your competitiveness for anything. It doesn't have secret benefits later. It's just for your passion. In terms of, sorry, your first question was?
The other question I could address, graduating in less than 4 years, graduating in 3 years, which is, I think, increasingly appealing to students. It's expensive to go to college. You want to get out there and do something else. So we do see about 25% of our first year students, people come in as a freshman. Right now, about 20% of those students graduate in under 4 years. So it could be 3 years, could be 3 years plus a quarter or two. But we see a decent number of students graduating early. We also have about 25% of our students who graduate into a fifth year. So they might be taking 1, 2 extra quarters, maybe a whole extra year. And we have a lot of students who do summer enrollment. And the pros and cons of graduating early or on time or later really is that it graduating earlier is going to limit your options. So if you want to do a double major and you want to graduate early, those things aren't super compatible. It's possible, but it's going to be much harder to fit everything in a shorter amount of time. And if you're just doing a bio major and you want to graduate early, you probably have a little bit less flexibility with which courses you pick, even getting involved on campus. If you're planning to go to med school or something very selective afterwards, less time to get clinical experience, study for the MCAT, etc. So I think it really depends on your goals. Like, are you aiming for something that is, going to work well for you to graduate early and move on to the next thing pretty soon? Are you bringing in a ton of credit? Do you already have an IGETC or, a bunch of credit from a community college that will help you graduate earlier? We're happy to talk through those options. It just depends on your individual priorities. Okay, well, I think we are right on time. So it's 11:15. Thank you so much to John. Thank you, Raju. And I will encourage you we're happy to talk with you out there. We have a bunch of other academic advisors, plus current student leaders, and then the mariachi group will be performing in just a few minutes, I think.